Hello and welcome back to this channel. In today's tutorial, we're gonna learn how to paint this simple landscape using watercolor brushes and some smudging techniques in Adobe Fresco. So let's just get started. I'll be using a square artboard. You can also do that by going to custom size, go to digital and click on square and click on create document. We'll not be using any sketches for this illustration, but if you think you really need it, don't worry. I have a sketch ready and the color palette as well, so you can find it in the link in the description box below. So go ahead and bring your sketch and your color palette. If you don't know how to bring in color palette, you can watch any of my other Fresco videos because I've got that covered in every video of mine. By the way, if you want to learn how to draw this with actual watercolors, I have a Skillshare class on that, so I'll leave a link in the description box below with 2 weeks of free Skillshare access. Make sure you go and check it out. All right, so I'm just gonna hide this thing because we don't want it. And let's start with a fresh canvas. First, we're gonna create the background. And let me go ahead and click on my watercolor brush. I'm going to go into watercolor wash flat. So my brush setting is at 512, that's the highest possible setting. The flow is at 64. And the water flow is set to 100. Let's start off by using yellow. And I'm going to create a yellow right in the center. But before that, I want to make the sun. So I'll choose the selection tool. And I'll go ahead and draw the sun like this. Go back to your brush and just draw the sun. Now let me go ahead and choose the orange a little bit. I'm going to add a bit of tinge of color right here. And next, click on deselect. Let's click on a new layer and make sure you click and bring the layer down so that it's behind the sun. So now we're gonna start painting. Let's go ahead and choose some yellow. And I'm gonna add a bit of yellow here. If you notice, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm just slightly adding some color. Now let's go to our orange. I'm gonna add some here and on top as well. You can add a bit more color by pressing in a little bit if you want, like that. Now let me go ahead and use the red. I'm going to add a bit of red here and obviously on top as well, like that. Now let's choose some purple. I'm going to just fill it up, the rest of the space with that purple. I'm going to do that here as well. And I have a little darker purple. I'm going to choose that and give it a bit on the top of the sky and also the bottom, especially in here. Okay, so I have all the colors done, but it doesn't look so great, is it? Because the water is like, clumping up and they're not mixing properly. So we're gonna go ahead and use the smudge tool now. So click on your smudge tool. You can go into painting. And if you scroll down, you'll see something called as wet brush 1. And we're gonna use that. I've set my smudge brush at 192 and we'll check if this works fine. I'm just going to scroll in and try to smudge in like this. It seems to work fine, but I think I want it a little more bigger, maybe 512 or 530. And I'll just try to smudge it. One thing you should know is that smudge brush takes a lot of computational power, I guess, so they're pretty slow. So you need to have patience after you use smudge because it might not show up immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and use the smudge brush now and smoothen out everything. I'm being very slow so as to not make my iPad go crazy. And I'm using strokes sideways and not like this. Just step back and take a look. I think we are done with our sky. You can make it as bright or as light as you want. It totally depends on you. Now we're gonna go ahead and add some things to it. So first of all, I'll go back to my watercolor brush. I'm gonna change the brush to watercolor wash soft. And let's go ahead and choose the purple that we have, but a little darker purple that we have. My brush is at 302 and I think that's perfect. So I'm gonna add some blobs here, which will represent the reed. I think they're reeds, right? I don't know what they're called. And make some blobs here and there. This will be in the background, so you don't have to worry too much about them. But it's good to have some of these here. That looks good. click on a new layer. You can actually continue on the same layer as well so that it blends with the background color, but we're not going to do that. Let's go here, click on watercolor round detail, and now we're going to add the action reeds. So all you have to do is click and create a line. Now this is too purple. Let me choose the darker one because the sun is shining on my iPad. I can't really see it. So I choose a different color when I wasn't supposed to. Okay. So let's draw a line. The reeds are going to be super simple. They're just going to be like that. So this is set to 60 and I see that the water flow is too high. So I'm going to reduce this to maybe 54 and maybe the brush size to a little bit like about 46, and I'm going to undo that. And let me go ahead and do that. If you have a sketch now, you know for sure like where you're supposed to put these reeds in. But if you don't have a sketch, just draw wherever you feel like it. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size 50. I want one here right next to the sun. It's going to be like that. So let's draw the lines first. Maybe like that. One here. One here. Here. Maybe one here. 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 Let's do this first. So I want my lines to go like that. You start off in the bottom and you can leave some gap and fit this in like this. That looks fine, and we're going to do that here. If you see, I'm not using this technique to draw on the reed, but I'm just doing like that, but thinner, of course. Looks good. I'm going to draw something here. By the way, you want the sun to be below the reeds because then otherwise it'll be weird that the reed is behind the sun, right? So let me just do that. Okay, and this one. Oops, I kept drawing on the sun layer. That's not good. That's not good at all. So use your 2-finger tap to undo things. Go back to the reed layer and do it all over again. Can you hear the wind? It's super windy here today, and even if I've closed all the windows and doors, it's still so noisy. Okay, so our basic set of reeds are done, but we have to do more. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one more layer and bring it below our dark reed layer. And let's go ahead and choose this flow and reduce this because it reduces the opacity of the color or the opacity. So now I'm going to go ahead and add more, maybe like this, and add some here. And you can see they are much lighter in color. If you feel like not so light, you can reduce this again, make it even more lighter, and just fill in some spaces here. By the way, if you feel like they are very strong and you don't want them to be so strong, what you can do is you can just go into color and reduce the opacity to completely 0 and change the brush to soft, wash soft or something like that. And then just, Oops, that's a lot actually. You don't want so much. Maybe this water flow, you can reduce this to about 50% or something. And then try to kind of do that, but not exactly over there in the background. That's it. Don't do it for the things which are close to the sun, because then it looks really weird. I think we are set with everything and our illustration looks good. It looks like a painting, a simple one, but still a painting. And now once you're done, you can just click on export, export as, and PNG, and export it and share it with your friends or Instagram or anything that you like. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this tutorial, and I really hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up or click on the like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to click on that notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. I post a new Fresco video every Tuesday, so don't forget to check back in next Tuesday as well. I guess I'll see you in the next video then. Bye-bye.